Well, a good Monday morning to each and every one of you. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy days to join us for our Final Expense Monthly Monday. My name is Matt Alina, and I am the Final Expense Sales Manager here at URL Insurance Group. And today is January 8th, 2018. Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a happy and safe holidays, and I hope you're also ready to get to work. For the first Monday of every month, we put together this Final Expense Monthly Monday webinar, and it gives final expense producers and people who are looking to get into the final expense marketplace an opportunity to kind of congregate and find out what's going on in the final expense marketplace. And we want to share successes, we want to share challenges as well. These monthly webinars that we're doing can be very successful, but I need to get some feedback from you. This is an opportunity for me to be able to gauge what you're doing to help me determine what I can do to help serve you better, to help you become more successful in the final expense marketplace. So here's our agenda today, and I know there's a lot of new people on the call. People are kind of interested to find out some different new sales ideas, sales techniques as they start the new year and start mapping out their marketing plans and sales plans for 2018. So we're kind of doing things a little off script from our normal phone calls or from our normal webinars. So here's kind of what we're going to do for our agenda today. So we're going to have an introduction to final expense sales and what we do here at URL. We are going to discuss our lead program and our lead subsidies. We'll also discuss the new carriers that we will be bringing on here in the next coming weeks. We'll have some sales tips, and then I want to hear from you. So don't get too far from your computer because there's going to be some questions and Q&A. And speaking of Q&A, everybody has the toolbar that you log in to this webinar. You can type questions and you can raise your hand. If you type questions or comments, I can open the phone lines. If you raise your hand, I can open your phone line and you can make your comments live, or you can type your comments and I will read those comments aloud. If there's questions in there, I'll get those questions answered for you. But this is an opportunity for us all to kind of share what we're doing in our daily lives in terms of final expense. So that's kind of our agenda here, and this is kind of different from our norm because there's a lot of new people on the call today that are looking to find out a little bit more about final expense sales here at URL and see what's going on in that area. So we have the blueprint for success. We are the final expense architects. Now, for those of you who are considering URL as a partner for final expense, here are some of the things that we add, some of the value adds that we provide. We have sales materials, we have sales scripts, marketing guides, we have online quoting. That's all at your fingertips. There's no cost for that. We offer top contracts. We have proven turnkey marketing programs for Medicare producers. We do many different webinars, like this monthly webinar that we're doing right now. We have live seminars that we hold here at our offices here at URL, and we also can do some one-on-one training, whether that's through a webinar or if you come into our office here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We can do the one-on-one training here to kind of get you up to speed on different carriers, different marketing plans, and things like that. We have consumer materials like the brochures. There's memorial guides that you can hand out to your clients. There's pre-formatted letters, a whole mess of stuff that we have that we can get you access to. We have numerous lead resources as well. And we'll get into that in a little bit more. And then based on your production, we do help subsidize those lead costs. So when we discuss the lead costs here in a little bit, understand that we will be giving back to you. As you partner with URL, URL is going to give back to you in ways in addition, above and beyond the commissions that you get. Here's a list of the final expense carriers that we have. Now we have probably close to about 20 different final expense carriers, and they go from the guarantee issue plans from AIG and Gerber and Great Western and National Guardian to some of the level benefits and more of for the healthier clients. we have every corner of the final expense marketplace covered, and this just kind of gives you a list of the carriers that we have. Now, I do want to highlight two carriers that are coming to URL here very soon. One is Assurant. They have it's American Memorial. They have a final expense plan, and the other company is Prosperity Life. Now, I mentioned them last month in our December monthly Monday meeting, but we're still working on getting some of the sales materials and get all of our ducks in a row so that you can hit the pavement running with these carriers. And we'll be discussing more about and getting into the details of those two carriers here. I'm pretty sure by our next monthly Monday, we will have all that information ready to go. So Assurance and Prosperity Life are two of the new carriers that we'll be bringing on, and we've just added to our portfolio. And another thing too, for those of you who are looking for guarantee issue programs or guaranteed issue plan, a lot of people for a number of years, the fallback has always been Gerber. And Gerber is still a very competitive, a very viable carrier. But Gerber had a rate change last month, and that has put another company in the forefront, and that's AIG. So if you're interested in learning more about guaranteed issue plans, feel free to contact me. I can get into more details at a later time there. Now, speaking of AIG, they do have or I should say, speaking about guaranteed issue is just that. Another way to kind of put it is as long as a client can fog a mirror, they can qualify for this plan. There are no medical questions asked. Simply, they put the name, address, phone number, all that pertinent information, and then they'll go from there. They'll issue a policy right then and there, and you also collect payment at that time. So you saw a list of all the carriers that we have. How do you know who's going to be the most competitive? We have a final expense quote engine on our website. So if you go to our website, URL, insgroup.com, click on Aries for Aries Insurance Agent Services, and then go to quote engines, and you will see that there is a final expense quote engine. So you would click on this link, and that'll take you to the final expense quote engine, which looks like this on the left-hand side. So you would put the state that your client lives in, their date of birth, male or female, tobacco or non-tobacco, and the amount of coverage. Now you can do level, you can do graded, you can do modified and guaranteed issue, and then you click on Get Quotes Now. This is a free quote engine that you have available to use through your partnership here at URL Insurance Group. Now, the final expense quote engine is going to do the shopping for you. So if you know that this client's in relatively good health, they're a non-smoker, you'll be able to get them coverage, and this will do all the shopping for you. And it shows you the top carriers for that particular person, for that particular face amount of coverage. Now, one of the things that you have to understand with final expense, there are certain loopholes in applications, certain medical conditions that one company might take over another. That's where I come in, can get involved and help you in helping you narrow down the carriers. But you will see that when you get contracted with carriers, you want to go with companies that you are comfortable with. You probably want only about 2 or 3 companies in your portfolio, and have one main company as your door opener, and then if that company isn't a fit for your client, then you can pivot and use a different carrier. Again, I can help you with selecting carriers, but whatever carriers you choose, understand that the rates are not all that different. You're talking a couple of dollars here or there each month difference. And with the final expense marketplace, people are purchasing these policies, and they're typically not, there isn't a place for them really to go and compare rates like they can if you were selling them a traditional term life insurance policy or a universal life policy. These rates are, it's not that It's not that your clients aren't savvy enough, it's just that it's not easily found, it's not easily and readily available. So people really can't shop you and shop the rates. Typically, people who are purchasing final expense realize they need something, and you just happen to be at the right place at the right time. So how do you get to the right place at the right time? Here's some ways to get in front of clients. We have our lead programs. Now, here are some of the lead choices that we have here at URL. We have lead mailers, we have teleleads, and then if there's a lead vendor that you are using, feel free to continue using them. We do not want to upset the apple cart. So whatever you're doing, if you have a great relationship with a lead vendor, feel free to continue using it. The lead mailers, this is what we have. We have a couple of different lead vendors that we can use for lead mailers, but if you're looking for guaranteed numbers, we can get you guaranteed 20 leads each month for a cost of $29 each lead. Now, you would have your own defined sales territory, and these are exclusive leads. So these are leads that are going specifically to you. It's not leads that are going to you and a bunch of other agents in your area. If an agent is partnering with us and doing these lead mailers, we will give them a defined sales territory. If another person comes in after you and asks for the same sales territory, depending on the size of the sales territory, we may close it and say that that area has already been taken. Same thing goes for our teleleads. You have a defined sales territory. They, again, are exclusive leads. These are leads that are going specifically to you and not a bunch of other agents. All of these leads are never resold. So once these leads have been distributed, they are with you and they're not going anywhere else. Now, the cost of the teleleads is $19, approximately $19 a lead with a 20 lead minimum order. The more leads you purchase, once you start ordering 30, 40, 50 leads, the lead unit costs do decrease. So they do offer some bulk discounts available. Now, what they do is they make phone calls to clients or people in your area that would fit the final expense profile. Same thing with the lead mailers. They're going to be targeting people that fit a final expense profile. And again, going back to your choice, the third option, again, if there's a lead vendor that you're using, we'd like to know about it. Maybe it's someone that we can add as an option to our lead vendors, and maybe we can negotiate a better price for you than what you're already paying. So let us know if there's a lead vendor out there that you like, and we can certainly explore that in greater detail. Now, as you see that there's the different costs that are associated with the lead programs that we have, we subsidize these leads. So if you are a Gemini partner with URL, Gemini partners are people who consolidate all of their business under one roof, and that roof being URL Insurance Group. And by doing that, we give back in greater subsidies. And there's also bonuses and things like that that can also be in place as well. But for just the lead subsidies itself, for every $1,000 of annualized premium that you place each month, we would give you an $80 lead credit. And then for our standard partners, you get a $50 lead credit for every $1,000 of paid annualized premium that you place each month. So to give you an example, if you place $5,000 in annualized premium during the month of January, our Gemini agents are going to get a $400 lead credit. Our standard agents are going to receive a $250 lead credit. Either way that you go, we're giving back to you as a way to thank you for your partnership with URL. So that's kind of how we work our lead programs and how we work our lead subsidies. And of course, as I mentioned, not my contact information, I'll put that up on the screen here later on, but we can discuss that in greater detail. There's also going to be some poll questions that I'm going to be asking. These poll questions that I'll be asking here in a few minutes is just a way for me to gauge where you are in the final expense marketplace, where you are if you're just kind of kicking the tires and exploring things, or if you're already heavily involved. And it also allows me to tailor my services to help serve you better as we go through the year and years together in selling final expense. Now I'd like to go into an area that kind of some sales tips. And one of the things that's very popular And I've used this lead slide a couple of other times because it's just so popular and people ask for this all the time. How do you know if a client is in the market for final expense? And understand that final expense is not just burial insurance. It could be a way to help alleviate some of the financial burdens of some loans that may have been left behind by that loved one. It may be an income gap. Maybe that person's still working and they have family at home that still relies on a paycheck. So final expense is not specifically for paying the funeral home off. You can do it for that, but it's also some other way. It can also be used for other purposes as well. Now, Milton Berle was once quoted as saying, "If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door." So here's the top 5 lead-in questions. And this, as we know, as we're in sales, lead-in questions basically expose the need that a client may have for a particular product or service. Question number 1, have you or someone you know ever been responsible for making funeral arrangements? How did it go, and did it create any financial problems? Chances are, if there were financial problems, there probably wasn't enough money to carry out those funeral arrangements. If it went well, chances are there was enough money to carry out those funeral arrangements. So it really gets the person kind of thinking, if they've planned a funeral, what went right, what went wrong, and how can we alleviate that problem for their loved ones that will be taking care of their funeral arrangements when they pass. Question number 2, who will be responsible for your funeral arrangements when you die, and is that person financially prepared? Again, nobody wants to think about dying, but people also don't want to become a financial burden to their loved ones. So this kind of gets them thinking, did they let their husband or wife or son or daughter or grandson or granddaughter, or niece or nephew, whoever it is, are they aware that they're going to be the ones responsible for carrying out those funeral arrangements? And is there going to be enough money there to help carry out those funeral arrangements? A final expense life insurance policy can help those loved ones be financially prepared when that loved one dies. Question number 3. This is for people who or maybe they're still working. Does your spouse have enough savings to protect against the immediate loss of your income? That's a very direct question, but again, a final expense life insurance policy. It does not necessarily have to go to funerals or pay for funerals. It could also help bridge the gap or help add or help in the event of a loss of income. Question number 4. Come on. Now, this is for your clients that may already be widowed. Are you aware that bank accounts and assets are not available to your children immediately upon your death? Assets can transfer from one spouse to another spouse, to the living spouse, no problems, no questions asked. But where there can be some problems is when it goes from a parent to a child or even a grandchild. Bank accounts and assets are sometimes locked up and not immediately available to the children or grandchildren. A final expense life insurance policy, and life insurance in general, avoids probate and it avoids taxes. And it's the quickest and easiest way to be able to transfer assets from a parent to a child or grandchild. And then lastly, this is a very direct question. If you don't take out a final expense policy, what alternative plan will you use for your family? So those are the top 5 lead-in questions. If you are interested in getting this list, feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to send that over to you to help you with your final expense sales. Now is a little bit of time for some interaction. I have some poll questions that I want to ask you. Just to go, again, this is for me. This is to help me gauge where you are in your final expense experience and help me tailor my services to meet your needs. So the very first question that I have here, it's a yes or no question. Do you currently sell final expense life? Click yes or click no. Go ahead and answer those questions. Okay, we're almost at a 50-50 split. 45% of you on the call today said yes. 55% of you said no, you don't currently sell final expense. That takes me to my next question. If you don't sell final expense, why not? Is it a lack of product knowledge? Maybe you just don't have time. Maybe you need leads, or you don't feel comfortable selling final expense. Or for those of you who are currently selling final expense, then we know that already. So if you don't sell final expense, why not? Go ahead and answer those questions. Okay. So 18% of you on the call today said it's lack of product knowledge. Nobody said they don't have time, which is great. 45% of you said you need leads. So I will be getting in touch with you about these things. Nobody said that they didn't feel comfortable about selling final expense. And the rest of you on the call said, I currently sell final expense. Excellent. Going to our next question. Do you need leads? Yes or no? This will help me find out who needs leads, and we can discuss the lead program and the lead options that are available to you. So do you need leads? Yes or no? And go ahead and answer that question. All right, the results of that. 75% of you said yes, 25% of you said no. So we'll be in touch to discuss the leads that are available. And finally, our last poll question for the day. What can URL do to help you try out, if you're not doing final expense, or what can URL do to help you with final expense sales? Do you need leads? Can we provide more marketing tools and resources? Or maybe you need one-on-one training. Go ahead and answer that question. And we will gather those responses. Couple more seconds here and I'll close the poll. $18 of you on the call said I need leads to do final expense. Okay. 64% of you said provide marketing tools and resources. That actually is very good information for me. I appreciate that. And 18% of you said that you need one-on-one training. We'll help you with that as well. So I appreciate you answering those questions. Again, it helps me tailor my services so I can better serve you and help you with final expense marketing. Now we're going to move on to the next part of our section here. We want to hear from you. If not today, sometime this week, this month, we want to know what some of your challenges are. What are some of the challenges that you're experiencing? For those of you who are currently selling final expense, what are some of the challenges that you're experiencing? What can we do to help you with those challenges? Also, what are your successes? Did you have a really good week or a really good month? We want to hear about that. Find out what's working for you. How are the leads working out for you? If you're purchasing leads and maybe you found a lead vendor that is just really turning out these leads really good and it's working out well, you're closing a lot of deals, we want to hear about it so that we can see what we can do to help others get involved with that. And again, with these leads and stuff like that, we will help subsidize those lead costs. And also, if you're on the fence about final expense, what can we do to help you give it a try? What can we do to help you try out final expense? Some of you on the call today may already be Medicare producers, and you had a really good year with Medicare. Just like Medicare is health insurance designed for seniors, final expense is life insurance designed for seniors as well. So what can we do to help you give it a try? We have so many different marketing tools and resources. I will be in touch with each and every one of you. Let's see if we have anything here. Stephanie, great question. Stephanie said, Matt, could you give an example of the kind of wording that is typical on the lead mailers? Does the person know that they are responding to a final expense type product, or is it more ambiguous? That is an excellent question, Stephanie, and I appreciate you asking that. So I'll give you the quick answer. It is specific to life insurance final expense. We used to have lead cards that were absolutely awful. They were so ambiguous that people thought that it was a free program offered through the state. So the way this basically works is that it talks about life insurance in the mailer, and it also talks about leaving a tax-free benefit through life insurance to their beneficiaries to help with final expenses and burial costs and things like that. So it's not company specific. So it does mention about final expenses, life insurance, and it also mentions tax-free gift to their family or beneficiary. So I appreciate that. And I have your information, Stephanie. So what I will do is I will send you and email you a copy of the current lead card that we're using. So excellent question. If there are other questions, feel free to type those questions or comments, and I'll be happy to read those aloud. Or you can raise your hand, and I'll be happy to unmute your computer speakers or your phone line, and then you can ask the question aloud. So again, this is kind of an open forum. This is what makes this webinar very successful. We want to hear from you. We want to know what we can do to help you meet your challenges. We want to share in your successes. We want to learn how the leads are working out for you. And if you're not doing final expense, what can I do to help you give it a try? What can I do? And what can I do to help you become more successful? What can I do to help you take your sales to the next level? So while this is going on here, I just wanted to move on to the next slide. And if you do have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever it is pertaining to final expense, I am the final expense manager here. You can reach me toll free at 800-926-8875, extension 141. So again, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us for our presentation today. We'll be doing our next monthly Monday webinar, the first Monday of February. So I guess we're looking at about 3 weeks from now, as a matter of fact. So it's the first working Monday of every month, by the way. So I appreciate your time. And again, any questions, comments, concerns, contact me, 800-926-8875. My direct extension is 141. I appreciate everybody's time, and good luck out there, and I look forward to working with you throughout 2018. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.